if this was an A-list celebrity, what would I say? What would I do? How would I react? What would be the difference? And the difference is the gap in your service you didn't realize existed.
I'm really excited about this one today because I've got Geoff Ramm with me. I met Geoff maybe a good decade ago, I think it must have been, mustn't it? A good 10 or so years ago. He actually came into Friday Media Group when I was working there and delivered a workshop on this very topic, actually, so celebrity service. And everyone was blown away, and I know Geoff has worked with people from there who have gone on to do other things since then. So he's definitely been remembered. I really wanted to get him on to have a chat. And Geoff, I'll let you introduce yourself because you'll do a better job than me.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you. 10 years ago, I had hair. I had everything going for me. But time moves on. Thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate it. I remember that event very well. And so for everybody watching, everybody listening, my name is Geoff Ramm, and I'm the creator and author of Celebrity Service. And it's about discovering the gap in your service that you didn't actually realize existed within your team, within yourself, within your brand. And I've had my own business for 21 years, and the last 16 years, 100% speaker. So as a keynote speaker, I deliver keynotes and workshops, masterclasses for businesses, brands, you name it, all over the world. And I share real life stories, real life ideas. We have a lot of fun. It's very engaging. And honestly, Martin, as you possibly gather from all those years ago, I love what I do. So if we can delve into a bit of celebrity service, if I can share some ideas to help people or to hopefully to inspire people, then brilliant. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for context, maybe we should start with what is celebrity service, because a lot of people are probably listening thinking, well, what's he talking about? What is celebrity service?
Essentially, I mentioned there the sort of strapline is, it's all about discovering the gap in the service you didn't realize exists. Let's do this as if I'm starting a conference, starting an event, for a small team or a big event. So I'll walk on stage, I'll walk out and I'll say, look, on a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 is abysmal, rubbish, terrible, but 10 is incredible, the most amazing, oh my God, what number would you give yourself right now for the levels of service that you're giving every one of your, members, passengers, guests, customers, clients? So 1 is abysmal, 10 is incredible. What number, and you've got to be honest, would you give yourself right now? So I've spoken in 49 different countries now over my career. And this question is the one that I start the vast majority of events with. I can tell you now that the vast majority of people in the audience will say to me, there are 7. Sometimes we get a lot of 8s, we get the odd 9, we get the odd 1, 10, we'll get the 6s, we'll get the 5s, but the vast majority, Martin, are in around that 7 to 8 mark. And what they're saying is, Geoff, we're pretty good. They're pretty good, 7s and 8s, that's quite a high mark. And I'll say to them, what will it take you to go even further? What will it take you to go to a 9 or a 10? And I poke fun at the world of customer service for the last, it's coming on to almost 5 decades now. But for the last 50 years, every book, manual, trainer, speaker, anybody in terms of customer service will tell you there's 2 things. There's only 2 things for your business, your brand to stand out in the marketplace this year. The first is you must always go the extra mile.
Mile?
Go the extra mile, Geoff. And the other one is you must always exceed expectations. Okay?
Yeah.
So and I wonder how many people now have recently been on a training course on customer service. Go the extra mile. We need to exceed expectations. And honestly, Martin, it's the same old. There's nothing new in the world of customer service. But I say to audiences, I think I found something. I think I found the one thing that will change your mindset in delivering a greater customer experience starting from now. So it's called celebrity service, and it's a mindset shift, but it's a question, and the question is a philosophy, and this is the question. If your next client, customer, passenger, guest, member were an A-list celebrity, Hollywood god or goddess, right? So the next tweet that you receive, the next phone call, the next person that walks into your office, the next email that you come through, and they were an A-list celebrity, and you know the types I'm meaning, George, Brad, Angelina, these types of people. If they were to become your next client and they wanted to come and visit your business tomorrow, would you deliver the exact same service that Martin and Geoff are getting today? Or would you go even further? So I have lots of examples in this. I actually tell a real life story. So that story's on YouTube, so feel free if anybody wants to look at this. And I'll tell you where the celebrity service, the birth came from. It came actually at a conference. And how I challenged this one person, and she came up with idea after idea after idea of what she would do to improve her service levels. So let me go back to everybody watching and listening to this podcast right now. What do you mean would change our service? If an A-list celebrity were to come into your office tomorrow, are you serving the same coffee? Are you serving the same biscuits? Do they have to find the car parking space? Or have you already reserved it for them? Because, you know, a normal client, find one, it's a Thursday, it's busy, but good luck. How quickly would you respond? And would you respond in the same cut and paste manner because you're busy? Or would you spend an extra 30 seconds, 10 seconds on replying to that communication in a slightly greater way? And I go through the whole touch points of a business, of which there are thousands, and you challenge yourself with this question. If this was an A-list celebrity, what would I say? What would I do? How would I react? What would be the difference? And the difference is the gap in your service you didn't realize existed. Right now you're delivering, on average, 7 and 8 out of 10. That's a great score. But if a celebrity were to come in, your service levels goes to there. And that is the gap. Now, what I do when I do this sort of the overall opening story to my keynotes and my events, I then show people exactly what celebrity service looks like. So celebrity service is the philosophy. That's what it is. But I broke down the word celebrity because I have over 500 stories and ideas and techniques to help people. And I put all of these into various categories. So celebrity stands for consistency, excitement, love, engagement, bravado, response, independence, thank you, and you and your team. And that's what I deliver in my talks. So the very much the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, Martin, it's all about, wow, there's something new out there. It's quite exciting. It's different. And it is a mindset shift that will completely redefine, but also redesign your levels of future customer service. And that's all you have to ask. But then I bring in all of the stories and all ideas that bring it to life. And that's the part that inspires audiences most. And if we can give them techniques for them to go away and do it themselves in their business, then that has been one heck of an event. So that's celebrity service. That's what it is. And like I say, the full video of how it all began is actually on my website, but also on my YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to have a look at it, it's about 10 minutes long. It was filmed live at a conference in Dallas. Then be my guest. Hope you enjoy it.
It'd be good to maybe talk about a couple of examples just so people can get this clear in their head. And I know you've got hundreds, but yeah, it'd be good just to pick out a couple.
Well, this is very much a visual one, but I will describe this for people who are listening, okay? But everybody's watching on YouTube. This will be great. And it's actually one of those where, well, accountancy, okay? So you might think having a hotel or having a resort or a car dealership, you know, some sexy product, it would be fantastic to sort of deliver. Oh, it'd be so much easier to deliver a greater experience. But then, you got accountancy, solicitors, financial planners. Ooh, hang on, Geoff. We're professional here. What do you mean excitement? What do you mean, all this celebrity service? I'll tell you this one, okay? So my accountant, our accountant, Haley and I account, a gentleman called Stephen Paul. Stephen Paul. He has a brilliant accountancy business in the northeast of England. He's covered all over the UK, but his headquarters is in the northeast. Twice a year, without fail, Haley and I would go to his office and would meet with hello, and he's become a good friend now. It's quite strange. And the family, our families know each other. It's brilliant. So you'd go to the meeting and, hi, how you doing? Shake hands and a bit of a hug. Remember when he got allowed to hug people? It was great. And then you go into the office. What's the first thing that person, and it's not just accountancy, by the way, but anybody meeting a client, and you want to impress them, aren't you? The first thing you say is, what would you like to drink? Can I get you a tea or a coffee? And I say, okay, I'll have a tea, and Haley have a coffee. A few minutes later, tea and coffee arrives. Martin, for years and years, right? Meetings after meetings after meetings. The coffee and the tea is good service, right? That's good service. But have you ever been to a car boot sale? And there's always a family with a sort of the boot open, and they've always got a cardboard box and it's full of mugs. And they've kind of had the clear out, right, from the garage. And there's like 500 mugs, like for a penny each, and they're trying to get rid of them. And it's as if, and I do make fun of it, and Stephen knows I tell this story, but it's as if Stephen's gone along and went, oh, I'll have them for the office. Because every coffee tea that we ever had was a different shape, different colour, different brand. And I was like, oh my God. So anyhow, when we're having the meeting, I'll come out of the meeting and Haley would talk about the business and what we're going to do. I was like, did you see the mugs? The mugs, the flipping mugs. And it used to do my head in for years. Anyhow, cut to the chase. This particular meeting, we're finishing the meeting. It was just before COVID times, actually. And Stephen pulled me to one side because he knows all about celebrity service. He's read the books and all the rest of it. And he said, Geoff, I just wanted some advice. I said, yeah. He said, what about? He said, I just want to bring a bit more celebrity service into the business. When we first meet them, you want to have a really great first impression. I said, right. And Haley kicks me. She went, don't mention. And I went, I've got one idea for you, Stephen. Your mugs. He's like, what? I said, you flipping mugs. I said, look at this. And what finished me off is that meeting, he gave me this Newcastle United mug. I'm not a Newcastle fan. I was not.
You were Sunderland, aren't you?
Yeah, I was red and white. I'm not a happy bunny. Honestly, it was the most bitter coffee you've ever tasted. I was like, oh. So, I said, yes, I've got this idea, your mugs. He said, what do you mean? I said, look at this. This isn't you. I says, your brilliant service, you're fantastic, the family vibe, all the awards that you've won, and then you give. I said, that's good service, Stephen, but come on. And he went, I never saw it. He said, I never saw it. He said, thank you. He says, what I'm going to do now, he says, I'm going to get proper mugs. I went, okay. So this, for anybody who's watching, there's the mugs. Now, I'll just read this out. So value, there's the brand. Now, look what it says on here, Martin. Putting you first. Now, that's a pretty good strapline. So when he told me, I'm going to get some branded mugs, I said, excellent. You've gone from good to great. I said, but please bypass great. You don't need great. He said, what do you mean? I said, there's another level. It's called celebrity service. I said, and I used the analogy, Angelina, Brad, George, anybody was to come into your office next week, what would that service look like? And I said to him, you know we're coming. He said, yeah. I said, well, you made the appointment, 2:00, Tuesday afternoon. You know we're arriving. And I said, for every single new client, potential new client that you have, you know their name, you know what time they're coming. I said, literally, take this mug and do that. And on the other side of the mug, is pre-printed with their names. And obviously on here, Geoff and Haley, he got these done for us specially, but he now does this for every new potential client. And he said, what happens if they take them away? What happens if they want to take them away? I went, let them. You don't want 500 million mugs in your office. But I said, for an extra couple of pounds, you have created an experience that they were never, ever going to expect. Also, that person, that business, is also maybe looking at another 2 or 3 accountants, and you've all got the similar services. You've all got similar prices. You've all got similar things to offer. What makes you different is the experience that you give, and you do that at the very first meeting. But when you know something about somebody, that is when you create those celebrity service moments that they will talk about, those Instagrammable moments that they will talk about and share for years to come. And it's just one of those examples, Martin, where it is easy for certain industries to go, oh, celebrity service, it's dead easy. Not quite. But to take it to a professional services level, that was pretty special. So yeah, that's what he does now for every client, and they absolutely flip and love it.
So sometimes it is just little things that seem to make a difference as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the use of the name, and certainly post-COVID, things have really took a downturn. We've all seen this. Teams, staff members, there's extra pressures from home as well as work. And it's harder now, but there's so many opportunities individuals, teams, and businesses are missing out on, and those are niceties. But just the simple things, the T in celebrity service, Martin's thank you. Oh my word, there's so many things that we'll buy, big ticket items that we'll purchase. And where's the experience? And, not just cars, I'm talking homes as well. It's amazing how things have depleted. There's our local estate agents who we used. We moved into our home sort of 5 or 6 years ago now, and there wasn't even a card, wasn't even a bottle of whatever. I'm like, we've just handed over quite a bit of money, and I think there's a lack of care. There's a lack of love within the sector at times. Not everybody, but I just think, oh my word, there's so many opportunities that businesses are missing out on to create an incredible experience. And just as you said, it doesn't cost much. I have a line that says, "Costs nothing, but means the world." Look at the things that you can say, the things that you can do that would cost nothing, but would mean the world. And those are the things that get talked about. And I've got a line that I use often, and it's used in a couple of big stories that I use on stage. And it's, who's talking about you? And I do this for multiple stories, but I say, who's talking about you now? If your clients aren't on LinkedIn and they're not tagging you in on Instagram, and they're not tagging you in for the service and the experience that you provided, then you're not giving them a service and an experience worthy of being talked about. And yet, if a celebrity were to walk in, you would say things, do things, you would put them to the top of the pile, you would get that proposal out today rather than 2 weeks down the line, because everything would stop with a celebrity. And it's a case of, well, how do we provide celebrity service, Geoff? It's about finding those little things that you could do and replicate them for every other normal Geoff Martin client. That's the key to this. Knowing what you could do, but replicating it for everyone. But yeah, cost nothing means the world.
It's funny you mentioned the estate agent example. It just made me think. I've even been to Airbnbs where there's a little note and a bottle of wine, and it kind of, it probably bumps reviews, but it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? And what's a bottle of wine?
It's pennies. It is pennies. It is literally pennies. Yeah, that's the bit that upsets me. It's the bit that inspires me to get back on the stage and say, come on, enough is enough. This is how it's done. So back in the day from Friday Media Group, everything I talk about, every story that I share is always positive. I could spend hours talking about all the negative stuff that's happened. That doesn't inspire anybody. But it's all about the people who live and breathe putting a smile on that person's face. Those are the stories that I love to share, because we can get excited about it, Martin. That's the great thing.
Well, one of the things you mentioned was like about getting people talking about you and things like that. And I think I mentioned this to you already, but I changed hosting companies a while back.
Right.
And I was frustrated with the one I was with. If you had issues, you go on live chat, you'd be waiting. I've been on there 3 hours, more than one occasion. And then once you're through, the service is terrible. And it just became too painful. And the thing that was stopping me from moving was just, I've got to move all. I had multiple websites on there. I've got to move them all. It's just all a bit of a pain. I got in touch with this company was recommended, so that's a good sign already. Guru, they were called, and got in touch with them. Live chat, instant, straight through to tech support. Said, I've got all these sites I need to migrate. We'll migrate them for you. And everything I asked, boom, 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 they were brilliant. They were so good. They migrated all the sites. Any issues I had, they were straight on it, and they were great. But what really stuck in my mind, so that was all fine. I thought, they've been really good. I'm glad I moved.
Yeah.
But then a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks later, I just suddenly get this package through the post. No idea, not expecting anything. Open this up, and there's just a handful of bits in from Guru. There's a packet of sweets. There's a coaster, a mug coaster. There's a little handwritten note saying thanks for being awesome from Team Guru.
Yeah.
And just at the bottom of the pile, there's just a little thing saying, if you're enjoying your service so far, and how are you finding Guru, would you mind leaving us a review on Trustpilot? It's the first review I've ever left on Trustpilot. So
really?
It just shows just little things. I mean, that probably cost them a couple of quid, if that, probably less. Just little things that really stick in your mind. And I was shouting about them on social, and that's exactly what you were saying about getting people talking about you.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's that's they appreciate your business, but they've stuck in your mind. How many people are going to watch this and listen to this right now and know about Guru? I had. It wasn't as good as experience as that. I don't think it ever could be. But we must have been in the same ballpark, Martin, because I use a company called Easy Space for domain names and all that hosting type of stuff. And I always just every couple of years, just get my domain name for an extra couple of years. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm tired of doing this. It's been I've been there such a long time. What's the maximum I can get? And the maximum was 9 years. And I thought, let's just do that. I'm going to be in business and hopefully around in the next 9 years' time. So went online, but I couldn't order it. I couldn't update my stuff and pay for it. And of course, what's in the corner of the screen? Chatbot.
Found the chatbots.
Chatbot. There are two types of chatbots. There is the nice chatbot, who's a person, who's a human, who has blood and veins. There's the other one that when you press, how can we help you? And you say, hi there, I wonder if you can. And then when you press return, they send like a 900-page document. I'm thinking, God, you're quick typing. You're good. And then how can we... Anyhow, went on this chatbot and I put in my stuff. Hi, can you help me? Hi there, Geoff. Yes, we can. What is it? And I thought, I says, is there a number that I can speak to? I can help you. And, God. And it was very robotic, Martin. It was very robotic. And I can't remember what I'd said about whatever it was. And I said, my card details. I said, I'm not going to put my card details in here. And this person said, well, I'll call you. And I was like, are you not a robot? And she went, no, my name's Fiona. I was like, oh my God, a human being. Oh, brilliant. And she rang me out and I spoke to her. I said, Fiona, I thought I was communicating with a robot. And I said, I hope you don't mind me saying that. And she said, oh no, it's just like sort of the responses that we go through. And I said to her, like I'll say to everybody on this podcast right now, Martin, you might be an online business and you might have that tech-driven front interface thing with every one of your clients, but can we please stop sounding robotic? You know, I'm all for technology, but please, 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 there's nothing worse. Or, you know, it's just the sort of the next level up from phoning a call centre, calling this number, pressing this digit, pressing that digit, and then finding out that they're closed. You know, and you've been on for 12 minutes. Oh yeah, sorry, we closed 3 days ago. It's like having that human interaction is still vital, if not more vital than it ever has been. And certainly if people have got questions, if they've got issues, or they just want help. And of course, I'm not complaining about a service. I'm sat on the other end of the screen wanting to give you a lot of money. Just make it easy for me to part with my money. So she was good, but dearie me, that less robotic, you know, that... Oh, shall I tell you this one? So I many moons ago, I mean 10 years ago, if not before, I had a Lexus, an IS250 Lexus car. Loved it, great. I've moved on. I'm not prepared to... I don't want to buy another one, it's fine. But for some reason, I'm still on their database. I very rarely get emails. I very rarely get stuff. But they just keep coming through, and they've come through a lot over the last month, and I just thought, I don't need it. I'll unsubscribe, right? And again, it's not the computer. I'm not unsubscribing from a computer. People, human beings have set this up, have created the customer experience, which is interesting. I went to unsubscribe. I had to do a urine sample, a blood sample. I had to do an eye test. I had to fill in forms to unsubscribe. Normally you just email and press. No, Alexis wanted the full thing. So I had to give them the full thing. And they emailed me to say that they will look into unsubscribing me from their database within the next 14 days.
That's unreal. And then they'll probably reject it.
14 days? I mean, what is 14 days? Is that like, what can you do in 14 days? 2 weeks? Could you imagine? Unsubscribing Alexis. And by the way, any other brands might do this as well. If Alexis want to book me to speak, please delete this from the podcast. But 14 days? I mean, you can imagine unsubscribing, going on holiday, coming back with a great, lovely tan, and them saying, yeah, we still haven't unsubscribed you. I mean, it's just bonkers. It's just bonkers. So that roboticness, that tech, we need to be a lot more human. We need to have a bit more fun as well, and just lighten up. We've for the last 3 years, we've been instructed from everybody and everywhere. Can't do this, can't do that. 2 meters. Don't do this, don't do that. We've been instructed, and yet our customer service, our communications have followed suit. We're very much instructional rather than conversational. And if we just lightened up, if we can just bring that bit more human element into things, it will make for a richer experience for everyone. So, yeah, there we go. I won't be buying a Lexus anytime soon, and I could possibly build one in 2 weeks. Who knows?
When you were talking about the not knowing the difference between a bot and a human, I've seen a lot of that as well. And for anyone who uses FBA, so fulfillment by Amazon, they'll know how painful an experience that can be. And the amount of times, I think that's more of they have scripts hammered into them. The amount of times I've raised tickets with them, I've been quite clear about things, I've explained it, and then they come back with this scripted answer, close the ticket, not saying, you know, oh, is this okay? Is this all good? You happy with this? No, close the ticket, so I have to reopen it, go back, look, sorry, you didn't read the ticket. What I mean is, blah, 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 you know, definitely very clear. And they come back with the same template, close the ticket again. And you just think, who's reading these things? And it's like you say, it's very robotic. And it's just an awful, awful service.
It's... It's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. We, interestingly enough, I mentioned about the Newcastle United mug from Stephen just yesterday. You've got me thinking now, actually, because at Sunderland they've decided to go all digital for their season tickets. So we've got season cards. Let me have a look. Let me show you here. We've got season cards. This is how I'm 21-year-old, but I look a lot older. I tell you what I'll do. I'll show you. This is going to go in the new book. Not the. I'll go back. Yesterday first. So they've gone all digital. So you can't have season cards. These are the season cards, as you can imagine. You beep beep, and through the machine, you don't speak to anybody on the turnstile now, which is a shame. But with the machine to get in, so all your tickets are loaded on there. That's fine. But they want to do this for the good of the environment. Okay, no more plastic, which I get. So they're going digital, so it'll all be emailed to your phone. Could you imagine the confusion that's going to cause to the first game of the next season? When people haven't got it, where it's in my trash folder, that doesn't work. Where's my phone? My phone's out of charge. It's going to be a nightmare. You watch. It's not a prediction, it's just guaranteed what's going to happen. But of course, I try and renew my season tickets yesterday, and I can't do it online. I can do mine, but not the children's, Grace and Elliot. I can't renew their tickets, so what do? Email us. I'm like, but I need to do this now. So I had to switch everything off, got in the car. Thankfully, I'm only a mile from the stadium. Drove, so that helps with CO2 emissions in the environment. People now have got to, and there's just queues of people saying, I can't access this, I can't download this. And do you know what? The move to have it automated, the move to technology, I get. But by God, it's going to be a pain in the backside for some time to come. But we've got to make the change sometimes. Let me go back to what's going to be in the... this is an exclusive. Nobody knows this. So we've got digital tickets, which for me will be rubbish. It's a bit like digital tickets on your phone for cinema. I don't know about you, but the first cinema you ever went to with your partner, you know, the first date, the date night, you possibly kept your ticket stub. You're not going to keep it on the phone, are you? It's just whatever. So we're losing that bit of experience. We're just losing it. So these are my current season tickets, cards. Season before last, there was a printing error, right? They've got an email, printing error. Sorry, we can't get the badge on. There's a printing error with the printers, but we still need to get your card to you. And that was the card that we had. But instead of printing it, what they did is they got the players to sign the card.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
That's more like it.
It's the greatest bloody thing I've ever seen, excuse my French. So this is Dennis Serkin, our current left-back, who's been injured for 1,200 years. We got him from Spurs, young lad, great full-back, Dennis Serkin. But I've got that. Now, I'm never going to throw that away. Now, how cool would it be for the next season for us to have this, but you don't know what player's going to sign, you know? And that becomes collectible. I might be an old fogey. People
especially with something like sports, you want to keep things like that, don't you?
How cool is that? And you know, we're going to have 30,000 season ticket holders divided by 30 odd in the squad. Just crack on, just do it. How cool would that be? Anyhow, so for me, it's like technology is the future. I get. Never ever underestimate the power of personalisation. Now, for me, that cost nothing. But it meant the world. And yet we've scrubbed this idea. I think, and that's far better than flipping print. So even anyhow, can you see where I'm going from? That art of personalisation. For those of you watching this and reading this, please don't give it up. Please don't see other ways in which you can get your character, your personality to that client in a greater personalised way, because if it was a celebrity, you would take the effort, you would take the time, and you would spot opportunities to create celebrity service moments.
When you're thinking about delivering a much better service or a celebrity service, whether it's for a new client or customer, passenger, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
or an existing one, because obviously we want to treat everyone the same. How about kind of idea generation? Because sometimes you hear stories and you think, oh, yes, that's a really good idea, but would I have thought of that? How do you find this kind of inspiration? Do you just take inspiration from other stories like this and try and apply it to your own setting?
Yes, so far, yes, Martin. To be fair, you can see other people do similar, and never look. I always say, never look at the competition. Never look at the competition for inspiration, because what you will have is a regurgitated competitor's idea with your brand on it, and it'll hardly be the leap that you want to make for your own business in terms of the experience. So yes, you can find inspiration. I find inspiration from hotels, from airlines, from corner shops, from the milkman, from people say things, do things. But as you know, I capture them all. So I take photographs, I take videos, I've got a notepad, and my camera on my phone is half celebrity service ideas and things that I've seen. So I use this to then inspire audiences. Now, but what I do is I also use these ideas and the ideas that I come up with, because that ideas generation piece is huge. You can get ideas from just seeing other things and just tweaking and go, oh, we can do this. That, not everybody can do that, Martin. Not everybody can do that. It's a bit of a skill set. So picture the scene. I've just finished a keynote for a client, and basically what I've done for that hour is I've opened their eyes into a greater service experience. What could be achieved? Something very different. Lively stories, fun stories, get everybody whipped up. Great. Then we go for a break. We have coffees, teas, go for lunch. After lunch, I'm back on. And this is where I deliver Celebrity Service Interactive. This is where I'm going to deliver the techniques that room, that team, that organization can take away with them to create these celebrity service moments. Because when I get back on that plane, train, and car and leave, it's kind of, the most important thing for me is the momentum. How are you going to take this message forward? Yeah, you can buy the books. Yes, you can subscribe to my YouTube. That's all lovely. But you need to be able to do this within your organization. So the second part of what I do, and it's a very big part of what I'm booked for, Celebrity Service Interactive. So picture the scene. We have 30 people. 30 people, say, in that organization. Quite a small business, 30 people. Second half, Geoff is going to do Celebrity Service Interactive, and I would get that room into half a dozen teams. Maybe it's 4 or 5 people each, okay? So you're all in teams, all on a different table, and I'm going to give you all the same challenge, right? This is called the 120 challenge. I'm going to give you all the same challenge, and you are going to compete against everybody, every other team in that room. Your team is going to compete, and you're going to vie for the most creative experience, service ideas in that room right there and then. And of course, the most creative answers and wild answers will get some prizes, for example. So I said, everybody, you're all in 5 or 6 teams. I'm going to give you the same challenge, but at the very last minute, I say, here's the twist. This is the 120 twist. You only have 2 minutes to come up with these ideas, which of course is 120 seconds. Half of the room, Martin, have just went, oh, two minutes. The other half have already picked up a pen and have started. But as soon as I say, go, everybody, the room lifts. The energy in the room, it lifts. It's brilliant. It's like, oh, we can do this, blah, 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 blah. And of course, I've 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, 10, 9, 8. Right, pens down. Who wants to share their ideas? And then we go around the room. Guaranteed. Every idea that will come out from any team in that room, in that instant, those ideas will not exist outside of those 4 walls. And I've done this for years. It's something that I created many years ago. It's called the 120 Challenge, which is 120 seconds. But all of a sudden then, I'm giving you a challenge. It's a competition, but I'm only giving you 2 minutes. Within that time, you don't have to reflect, oh, can we do that? Is it legal? How much will that cost? Will we get it? You just go for it. You just go for it. And you just come up with a list of things, ideas, on how you can deliver a greater celebrity service experience. Now, Let me go back to some of those ideas. Some of those ideas will be illegal. Don't do them. Some of those ideas will cause bankruptcy. They'll cost too much. Don't do them. Some of those ideas might be a case of, yeah, could do that. And I promise you, in a room, some of those ideas will be absolute gems. You'd be, oh my God. And what if we do that? We could twist that. What if we do that? We could do this. And that is the seed. That is the sort of creative spark. And that's what I talked about this in the last book, Superstars. It's the creative spark that will get you talked about. But it stems from the 2-minute challenge. So the likes of, I'm very proud of this, the likes of Specsavers and Emirates and Warner Brothers, we've all done this within their teams. It's something I'm really, really proud of. And you set the challenge to your team on a particular subject within your business or outside of the sector, outside your sector, and just let the team be free to answer and go for it. Now, the research over the last 16 years has led me to say this. You already have the ideas within a minute. You already have them. People have asked me, Geoff, could you come and do this for 2 days? Can we do a weekend retreat? I went, no, not really. Just give me 2 days. Just give me 2 minutes, not 2 days. Because the most creative answers happen when we're like that, straight away. Because we're not thinking about the consequences. We're not thinking about what might not work. But what we have, Martin, is raw, brilliant ideas. And yeah, I've so many examples of this for all sorts of businesses who've gone on for success, increased net promoter scores, going on to win customer experience awards, trophies, greater TripAdvisor scores. Oh, it's something that I'm very, very proud of. And it's funny because you can't really see those, and I can't really do those because it's fully interactive unless you're actually in the audience. But I have got examples of those in the books as well, to sort of test your creativity. But how do we get those ideas? Yes, we just need to walk out of our front door. We need to observe everything. And this is one of the problems I think we have, Martin, in terms of how do we generate ideas. How many, and you've just mentioned Guru, I've just mentioned Lexus, I've mentioned Sunderland, I've mentioned what they did with the season card, and these are all ideas that majority of people just keep to themselves. This is the problem. If you've got a team of 10, 20, 1,000, are we inspiring them? Are we sort of saying to them, whatever you see, if you see a great piece of service, a wonderful piece of experience, bring it into the organisation, bring it into the team, tell us about it, take a photograph, put it on the wall, because we keep these ideas to ourselves. The more we can share, the more other people can be inspired from it, and that's how we can also generate additional ideas as well. So I hope that helps. I hope that might help.
Yeah. I think something really important you mentioned there as well is don't just copy the competition, which you see a lot of people doing. But that's not to say you can't take inspiration from everywhere else and other industries and what other people elsewhere are doing.
Yeah, I mean the last thing I would ever do, and I've just created my brand new website, launched in January. The last thing I would ever do is look at any other professional speaker's website. What for? Seriously, what for? Do you know what I mean? It's like, because that just sends me down the road of, oh, I like that. I'll have something similar with my brand on it, and therefore I don't stand out. So I've always done that myself. Look at different industries, look at different sectors, and that's when you can sort of ideas can get sparked, which is great.
Before we wrap up, I know we've spoken a lot about offering that celebrity service to customers, clients, existing and new. But I suppose this kind of thought process can apply to even the earlier stages like marketing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking to sort of acquire. I suppose the mugs idea with Stephen, that's marketing, but it's wrapped in a wonderful customer experience. But it's marketing in terms of that's not his client. It's not his client yet. He's trying to win them over. He's trying to stand out from the crowd. I I give this idea. I talk about, and I still do talk about, instant video email messaging. And I worked with a business who had a wonderful venue in the UK, and there was a private venue, stunning. It's like a mini Downton Abbey, and their marketing was really good. They got lots of inquiries for weddings and all the rest of it. And I worked with them, and they said, "How can we get these people over the line? How can we've marketed them, we've got them interested, but how do we get them across the line to sort of sign on the dotted line?" And I said, what I'm going to share with you now is both a great experience and service, but also this is marketing that nobody else, none of their competitors will be doing. And I said, you need to get personal. So what would happen is they would get an inquiry for this venue, for a wedding, and within 24 hours they would email back the future bride and groom. They email back, "Thank you very much for blah, 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 blah." And I looked at the email that they sent back. I went, never ever send this email again, ever. I said, what for? I said, because another 6 spas, hotels and castles will be sending exactly the same thing with a PDF, right? You'll be sending the same stuff. And I said, give us your phone. And they said, give us your phone. So I got the phone. And the lady was Carla, who I was working with. Give us your phone. And I said, right. And we're in this stunning venue, right? And I said, this is what you send. I pressed record. Hi, Geoff and Hayley, it's Carla here. Thank you so much for your inquiry about dates, which I'll send you. But I thought what I would do is we've actually got a wedding here tomorrow. So I was going to show you what it actually looked like. The room set up, ready, And I had it opening the door and walking in and showing the sort of the top table and the natural sunlight coming through here. Then we went up to the bridal suite. And I said, send that. And Carla was like, I can do that. I said, I know. And it honestly, and I said, it takes a minute. It takes 1 minute. It's beautiful marketing wrapped with wonderful service. And I said, send that. And they send that now to every single inquiry that they get. I said, because if I'm going to spend the bride and groom, the partner, that marriage, they're going to spend the most obscene amount of money for that one day of their lives. Before they've even signed up, you need to create the experience that they want to give you the deposit right there and then. And I said, your marketing's working, but you need to get them across the line. So in terms of for the marketing side, that service piece it's absolutely crucial. But you know what we do? We do the same as everybody else. We email.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like in the kind of age of video that we're in, that's such a good idea. But how many other venues are doing it? Like people they're just not doing it.
I make light of it if I do this on stage because you can do it for a lot of industries, almost all. But you can also do it for internal people as well. It's not all about customers as well. It can be the internal team. But I said, you've got to choose it wisely. And I said, and they said, what do you mean? I said, you should only do this once per client. Once. I said, it needs to be a very good reason why it's a second video that you record. I said, do not be the business that sends a personalized video email every week to that client because you will be arrested. Please don't do it. But again, what is it going to cost you? Nothing. How long is it going to take you? 1 minute. But it's going to last in the minds of that customer for weeks, months, if not years. And those are figures that I love. And that's where I come from. As you know, Martin, with my content, with my talks, I share the ideas that will never break the bank, but will actually elevate you to another level of experience. That's the exciting part for me.
Geoff, this has been an absolute pleasure. I think people are going to find this really, really useful. Where can people find you, contact you, find out a bit more about you?
Yeah, certainly. Well, there's the mothership. So there's geofframm.com, which is GeoffRamm.com. On my website, go and have a look at it. There's some videos on there. There's all sorts of wonderful things. YouTube. YouTube's a big one. There's over 70 videos on there. Again, if you'd like to have a look, subscribe, costs you nothing. There's loads of videos on there about what celebrity service is, but I've also got some wonderful examples as well, where I've been around the world and I've actually videoed and recorded examples of celebrity service. If you want to go to Amazon or even on my website, I have 2 books. That was the very first one that I wrote. That's the original Celebrity Service, the 2nd edition. And then there is Celebrity Service Superstars. Really proud of these. There are hundreds of ideas inside. Help yourself if it can help inspire you. Obviously, LinkedIn, Instagram, Geoff Ramm.
And a new one coming soon, did you say? New book coming soon?
Oh, coming soon, two dodgy words. Yes, I've started writing it. I'm going to look at a 2024, maybe mid 2024 launch for that. So I've got a few different ideas up my sleeve for this one, but I have started it. I've got the title, which I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to tell you, but yeah, it's exciting. It's going to be a big, fun explosion of stuff.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for coming on, Geoff.
My pleasure. All the best.